this case has exposed something about white women that I already knew. I do refer to white women as white men light. The way that they defend white women, the way white men defend white men in the face of anything, really and truly. There will be a cult of these women that will defend no matter what. It is strange. It's also the reason why someone like Taylor Swift, who's a very good artist, is like the biggest artist in America. She's not that great. She's just a white woman. And white women are the majority, and it's so easy for them to see themselves in other white women, no matter what. No matter what. And if you don't know what's happening in this case, this lady unalived her 3 children. But they just can't accept it. And then there's ones that have accepted it, but now they're like, oh, but all these other reasons, and they're trying to blame the husband. It's crazy, bro.
White women are obsessed with vindicating Lindsay Clancy, and I want to talk about why. I used to be a public defender, which is a criminal defense attorney for people who cannot afford counsel on their own. And being in that profession radicalizes you very intensely, very quickly, which I think is a good thing. When you're up close and personal to the criminal legal system, when you're going to the county jail every day, when you're getting to know your clients, when you see how the judges and the prosecutors and the court staff all interact with one another and then ridicule you and your client, you become obsessed with the underdog. Everyday news of the trial is literally radicalizing white women. White women are realizing in hordes that prosecutors can misrepresent facts, they can twist words, they can try to manipulate juries. We're seeing how harmful a prosecution in general can be to a community, to a family. And I'm excited about that, but I'm also like wondering, why is it now that they're being radicalized? The criminal legal system is totally overrepresentative of Black people, which is like by design. But that also means that because the criminal legal system has so many Black people in it, white women who see that system don't regularly see defendants who look like them. And when you don't see yourself in a punitive system, and when that system itself coddles you and largely respects you as a white woman, then it becomes hard to care. And so what's interesting about this trial is that Lindsay Clancy is like the prototypical East Coast white woman, right? Like Lindsay Clancy is the type of woman for whom this country was designed. She is not the type of woman who very regularly gets entangled in the criminal legal system. And so I think Lindsay's like current circumstances, the fact that she is very literally shackled to a chair in front of a jury is very scary to white women. And so what we're seeing on social media right now is like a total deluge of white women like seeking to come up with alternative explanations for what happened to Lindsay and Patrick's children. I love that people in real time are trying to understand what reasonable doubt means and what it means for Lindsay to even be on trial, and is the system fair to begin with. And I also love that white women are like on YouTube watching every second of the trial, right? Like that is so much a part of the job of being a criminal defense attorney, of being a paralegal. And you can court watch whenever you want. Like, I don't know if people know this, but you can go to almost any courtroom in America during the hours of 9 to 5 and watch whatever's going on. But obviously what bothers me about all of this support for Lindsay is the fact that like this support is selective, right? Like Black mothers are mistreated by police and the system and the judges and doctors. They die at the hands of doctors all of the time. And I guess my point here is like your support is racialized, is harmful if you only care about Lindsay Clancy. And if you care about Lindsay Clancy in this trial, like I promise you it's worthwhile to become a court watcher and become familiar with the trial process. I'd also encourage you to like get to know your like friendly neighborhood public defender. Represent 80 to 90% of criminal cases.
Black men are the most likely to be wrongfully convicted. The legalized, the privatized legal system was created with Black men being slaves in mind. We all know the system is unfair. We already know that there are problems within the system. We already know this, but one of the things that she mentioned in the video that I like is white women are just realizing this. And they're just starting to care because they see a white woman. The problem is the theories that they're coming up with are completely and utterly illogical.
This is just a Lindsay Clancy timeline theory. I have a couple of more questions, and our mind's been turning a little bit beyond just blindly believing a woman who was on 13 different antipsychotics and the only person painting this whole narrative and told her that she did the crime was her husband. So I rebuilt the timeline on my phone, by the way, so if you see me looking here, that's why. I feel like we've been trying to fit everything within this 56-minute window that Patrick was allegedly fully gone for. We now know that her Apple Watch recorded 3 flights upstairs, and that Patrick does not remember, based on his own testimony, whether he left at 5:15 p.m. or not after her text allegedly asking him to go get this medication from CVS, which can also be sent from her Apple Watch, which had its location turned off, and nothing indicates he actually left at that time. What I think happened: locked kids in basement, went upstairs, 1 flight upstairs, tried killing her first with the crushed pills and cuts her wrists, goes back down to kids, strangles them, comes back up, 2nd flight upstairs, leaves to CVS. Remember, it's a minute away, and he wasn't seen on the CCTV footage until around 5:32, I believe. She's disoriented, bloody doorknob because she's trying to get to the kids and her wrists are cut. 5:34 p.m. Phone call is 14 seconds, but this call has never actually been played in court. He's still wearing her Apple Watch. He can answer from his wrist, hangs up from his phone because he described her as quiet during this alleged call anyway. And remember, location for this Apple Watch is off. He comes home from CVS, the boots are still on. Now he sees her, takes the belt off and strangles her. This explains the crushed thyroid and why there was a forced strangulation device that was identified. Takes her to the room to stage her suicide, flight 3 upstairs, cuts her throat, gets blood on.
The scariest thing about all of this is it's literally just because she's a white woman. That's the scariest thing about all of this. It's just because she's a white woman. You can't, I'm sorry, you can't trust these people. I'm sorry.
Just because stupid people on the internet don't understand something, that doesn't mean that there's a conspiracy theory afoot. I'm a forensic scientist and a former CSI, and if there is one thing that I have learned since posting on TikTok, it's that people on the internet believe everything is a fucking conspiracy. The number of people online who are fully convinced that Lindsay Clancy is innocent and that actually her husband murdered her children is making my mind want to explode. She has admitted that she is the one responsible for killing her children, okay? She did it. Saying that she didn't is just as stupid as coming on the internet and saying that Bryan Kohberger is innocent. He is not. He murdered 4 people. He said out his own mouth that he did in fact murder those people. There are conspiracy theories in every single case that I talk about. Seems like a good time to remind you that everything seems like a conspiracy theory when you don't know what you're talking about. So just because you don't understand the evidence in this case and you don't understand how a mother could murder her 3 children doesn't mean it didn't happen. Just because you can't understand how somebody could stab 4 people so quickly or how he could not have blood in his car doesn't mean he's innocent. It just means you don't know shit about forensic science. It is so fucking gross to come on the internet and pretend that this is a TV show. Fictional shows, fictional books, fictional movies about crime, those have lots of twists and turns and unexpected killers because real life crime is fucking boring. And it's not exciting to make a show about a crime where you know who did it within the first 5 minutes. And once again, if you think that this case is going to be cracked wide open because of a different color temperature of somebody's shoes on 2 different shitty surveillance videos, you're unwell. You are fucking delusional. And you can tell me I'm arrogant or biased or condescending all you want to, but you guys are fucking nuts. It is so insulting to entertain these conspiracy theories. It is deeply damaging, not only to Patrick Clancy and the people who know and love him who have to hear you spout your bullshit on the internet. It is deeply insulting to other mothers who are struggling with postpartum psychosis when you come online and invalidate the terrible things that this woman went through. It is deeply insulting to the surviving family members of Bryan Kohberger's victims when you come on the internet and say, I'm just asking questions. Spreading misinformation, giving it 1 second of your time and not calling it out for what it is, or putting even a tiny bit of gas on a conspiracy theory flame is so damaging for the actual family members, the actual survivors, the actual loved ones in these cases and dozens of other cases.
The difference between my husband and Lindsay Clancy's husband, my husband, when I was going through the throes of my postpartum, made sure that I didn't feel obligated to fulfill that mother role and focus on healing myself, focusing on my mental health to get better, because if I didn't get better, then there was going to be no quality of life, no future. And that's exactly when he reached out to the company, Legion Health, and scheduled my first appointment. My psychiatrist was like, no. These medications don't go, blah, blah, blah. We're switching this. came up with a plan of action better way quicker because I had someone in my corner.
You can't make this shit up, man. Just anything but accountability. So, next time a man murders his children, we're gonna blame the wife, right? Oh, did he give birth and go through postpartum? Oh, so now we gotta add give birth. Because we do know men can go through postpartum, right? We do know men can go through postpartum, right? But you wouldn't accept that. You wouldn't accept it. Even if he had it, you wouldn't accept it. Because he's not a white woman. It's not funny, but it's, man.
The people who are saying that Patrick Clancy killed his children really just hate men. It's as simple as that. It is rooted in a deep-seated belief in misandry, and that you can't fully comprehend how a woman could suffer from mental health issues like postpartum depression or postpartum psychosis.
Also, what did BRS say? Misandry is just misogyny? By you hating men so much, you're essentially giving off the idea that women are these perfect beings and they can't mess up and they can't go through postpartum and they can't do evil things, in which people are going to hold you to an infinitely higher standard, a standard in which you cannot live up to because you're not those things. You're human beings and you are flawed. Even the misandry is working against you. How can you not see it?
And actually harm our children. And that is and comes from deep-seated misandry, aka a hatred for men. And you can yell all you want at me and tell me that I'm a gender traitor or whatever, but it's true. Because there is abundant evidence that Lindsay committed this crime. She admits she committed this crime. She offered to admit to it in court and go directly to the sentencing phase, whether or not it was because of psychosis. And the prosecution said, nope, we want to go through with a full trial. But you instead have come up with any other reason to believe that it was Patrick or Patrick's fault, that her body temperature was too low. She couldn't have been out there for that length of time, that he changed his shoes, so obviously something's amiss. Instead of looking at the evidence and saying, hey, nope, the evidence says that it's Lindsay. You can't fathom that a woman would hurt her.
Oh shit. I got the video. I swear to you, this video, it should be like just a mainstay on the channel. It should be like an intro. Because it's so incredibly valid.
I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to make you more aware. We're entering a very dangerous chapter in our nation because so many people will look at factual information and because they go like this or they don't believe it's true, they do.
Children, even though she's suffering from postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. Instead, you want to blame the man. Now, did Patrick do everything right? Did he get Lindsay all the help that possibly she could have had? That's up for debate, right? But you can't, he's not a doctor. He doesn't know what he's doing. He did everything he possibly could. And even if you don't believe that to be true, that doesn't mean he killed his fucking kids. It just doesn't. The only reason you are saying he's at fault here is because you hate men. And that's really coming from this whole thing where we believe all women, and we believe that women are always right, and we believe that women are always telling the truth when it comes to being victims of crimes. And here you want to believe that Lindsay was a victim of her husband committing this crime, and that he somehow was able to convince her that she did this despite him being the perpetrator. There has to be so much evidence, and the prosecution would have to have so much evidence of a motive. And you're gonna say, well, he married someone so quickly, or he started. That's not evidence of a crime, okay? So take a step back, look at it differently.
Touch some fucking grass. Touch some grass.
So I wasn't super aware of Lindsay Clancy until her trial started. And once I found out that her husband is already remarried with another child, So I wasn't super aware of Lindsay Clancy until her trial started. And once I found out that her husband is already remarried with another child less than 3 years since his wife allegedly murdered their 3 children, I was like, lock him up. Lock him up.
What? That's not how it. That's not how it works. That's not real. That's not. That's.
I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to make you more aware. We're entering a very dangerous chapter in our nation because so many people will look at factual information and because they go like this or they don't believe it's true, they deny.
He was already remarried within 4 months of his children passing away and a significantly traumatic experience. This wasn't an accident. It was supposedly quote unquote deliberate. And when I found out that when the police arrived at the home, he said she killed the fucking children. That was his how he expressed himself. I was like, nope.
What? Firstly, let me say this. Everybody deals with trauma differently. I've always said this. I'm someone, when it comes to shit going bad in my life, I embody my, well, no, that's not the word. I engulf myself in it. I sit in it. I become extremely unproductive. I become sad. I just engulf myself in everything. I feel it 100%. The bad thing is, like I mentioned, I become unproductive, distant, whatever the case is. The good thing is, I feel it and I get over it. When I'm done, I'm done. It's over with because I felt everything. It's done. Some people channel their stuff into the gym, right? Some people channel all their pain into productivity, and they work it out. They work. Problem is, do they ever really get over it? When it comes to breakups, when it comes to things like this, he probably, in his mind, moving on, getting remarried was the best way for him to cope. Do I agree? No. But it's not a sign of anything. And then we're talking about how he's expressed himself. Really? You don't like the way a nigga expressed himself? Now he's a criminal? Oh my God.
Oh, there's more to this. How could you tell me this situation is...
The scariest part is she's looking at notes. Like, that's the scariest part. Is like, these women aren't dumb. They believe in a dumb ideology. They're taking notes. They're watching everything, but they're still stupid. Like, that's how you know this feminism shit is just, in the modern day, is warping minds, man. These are not unintelligent women.
Completely unfathomable. How can you experience seeing your children like that and like processing at moment that something horrific has happened, regardless of who is to blame, and express yourself like that? And then be like, oh, 4 months later, remarried to the person he was having an affair with. Nope, there's something really, really odd there. And not only was she failed, she was significantly failed.
I'm sorry, guys. She unalived the children is violent language. Bumbleclot, dog. You know what? You know what's violent? Unaliving the children. Admitting to unaliving the children. But these women are genuinely insane, bro. This is a mental illness.
So when is Patrick Clancy's trial? When does his trial start?
You just can't make me hate a woman that kills her kids in postpartum.
No, because Lindsay Clancy's ex-husband, the dad, whatever the heck his name is, the children's dad, he did it, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Did she murder 3 of her children? Yes. Do I think she should go to prison for it? No.
Do you guys remember Chris Benoit? One of the goats, man. One of the goats! When it came out, he did what he did. I was like, no, not Benoit. All those diving up the top rope, he clearly messed with his head, man. He crazy. Okay, he done what he done to his whole family. It's like, damn, this is a demon. And he was actually he was actually going through it mentally. He had the what the NFL players are getting. I think that's what he had. right? He was actually losing his mind. It hasn't been proven that this woman has psychosis. She's just a demon. It hasn't been proven that this woman has psychosis. She is just a demon. Chris Benoit was actually losing his mind. Did he get that grace? Do you think those women would have given him that grace? Hell no, man.
Shout out to the person that made this comment, because you are 1000% right. The same people that are giving Lindsay Clancy the PPD excuse would not give that same grace to Chris Benoit. Because the man literally had CTE. This literally changes how your brain functions. This changes your behavior. It makes you more irritable. It makes you more angry. This man literally had the brain of an 85-year-old Alzheimer's patient. So if anyone had the excuse of unaliving their family and themselves, it would be him. But you know why we don't give him that excuse? Because murder at the end of the day is a choice. And he is shunned from WWE discussions and the WWE community for the most part, as he should. We treat him like the monster he is, and that's exactly what we should do to Lindsay Clancy, because she's a monster. She's not a victim.
Straight facts. Straight facts. But you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions on this, man. These... yeah.
This liquor got me in my zone. Now I'm blowing up your phone. Blowing weed, smoking the ozone. I just can't let this go. This liquor got me in my zone.